Evening, good evening, good evening. I have some breaking news coming out of Kiev, Ukraine, as well as Toronto, Canada, and Washington, D.C. A lot of big stories and videos and reactions. So thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's news. As Elon Musk and other Republicans continue to resist Democratic demands to halt spending cuts, Democrat Senator Kathy Klobuchar has warned that they are nearing the threshold of contempt of court, an offense that could potentially result in jail time for Elon Musk and the geniuses working for him. During an interview with CNN, Senator Klobuchar was asked if we are currently in a constitutional crisis, in which she responded, "We are not quite there yet because ultimately, when the final court order is made, the Trump administration is going to have to decide if they will follow it or not." Of course, it's Democratic attorney generals across the country that are bringing these cases, but they have basically said, no, Elon Musk cannot start rifling through the data of Americans. That violates privacy. No, you cannot take an agreement that was made between Democrats and Republicans to fund cancer research for kids and just stop that research in its tracks. That's where we see the courts stepping in. So she's basically saying, if we don't get our way with these Democrat-approved judges from Clinton and Obama and Biden, then Trump must be evil and somebody must be arrested. Unbelievable, right? That they would go to these lengths to get that done. Now, every day I wonder to myself, why is Dr. Anthony Fauci, the fraud who funded COVID and then covered it up, not in jail? Well, listen to what Dr. Peter Navarro, Trump's top trade expert, had to say about Fauci tricking President Donald Trump. This is a man that actually did go to jail, but let me go ahead and roll this and we will watch it together.
Fauci, when he was sitting there, that SOB knew for a fact that that virus came from the Wuhan lab. He knew that because he had funded the gain of function research in that lab, and he had already begun to design a cover-up. And we know that from the emails he sent to a group of researchers, academics, trying to get their support to push that come from nature theory. And that's the biggest lie of omission in American history, because if he had simply owned up to the fact that that thing came from the lab, we could have pressured the Chinese to give us the genome sequence, which would have allowed us to design an effective vaccine rather than the crap we wound up getting. And again, Trump got lied to about that. Not just by Fauci, but by Pfizer, the drug company.
In what way?
They didn't disclose the side effects of that. And they weren't clear with him. They made him think that it was a true vaccine when it's not.
Okay, wow. Wow. So you're telling me we now know with certainty that close to 19 million human beings died because of something that Dr. Fauci secretly, illegally paid for, and then secretly, illegally covered up, and then got a lifetime pardon from Joseph piece of crap Biden. We now know that Pfizer lied to the sitting president of the United States. They lied to the American people about the horrible, damaging side effects, and nobody gives a damn. Nothing happens. Life just goes on. Well, I just wanted you to hear it from Trump's top trade expert that went to jail because he refused to bow down to Nancy Pelosi in the January 6th shenanigans. All right, I want to talk more about some big DOGE fines, but first, I want to tell you how disappointed I am in Congress, as well as President Zelensky of Ukraine. He's now demanding that the U.S. government give Ukraine an additional $250 billion in taxpayer money. He's now having private meetings with the heads of European nations telling them that the United States of America will abandon them as they have abandoned Ukraine, will abandon the rest of Europe, and that Europe should go on the offense and abandon the United States of America before they have the opportunity. So let me go ahead and pull this to the screen, and let's go ahead and look at this together. This is over on CNN. Zelensky warns days of guaranteed U.S. support for Europe are over, as General Kellogg says Europeans won't be at table for peace talks. So he goes on to tell leaders and military people of European countries, you cannot trust the United States of America. President Trump is having these conversations behind my back with Vladimir Putin that America doesn't need Europe at the table, that the old days are over. America will no longer support Europe. I mean, this dude has some serious sour grapes, right? Am I reading this wrong? This guy's telling us cough up more money. This guy's telling our European allies, people that we defended in World War II and World War I, that we don't care about you just because your war has no possible way of being won. We're already over $200 billion, and now you want another $200 billion. This guy has some serious sour grapes. He says he's refusing to end the war, that Europe should put up more money, more weapons, and be willing to fight Russia and have their own soldiers die, just like the Ukrainian soldiers did. He's telling people, Europe, wake up. America has abandoned you and will no longer be there for you. I mean, this is insane. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe that Zelensky, after we gave him so much weapons and assistance and money, this war is over. Over 1 million people are dead. Over 10 million have fled for their lives. And now to our faces, you tell us that we're going to abandon you? We're trying to end your war, you idiot. Let me know over in the comments. To me, this is a slap in the face, saying that America is going to abandon Europe, that we've abandoned Ukraine. My gosh, we've given you hundreds of billions of dollars. So disgusting to me. Really, really agitates me when you see stuff like this. And then, you know, it doesn't help when you have people like Lindsey Graham. Listen to this. Let's just listen to this together.
I want to tell you and your people, you're the ally I've been hoping for all my life. Not one American has died defending Ukraine. You've taken our weapons and you've kicked their ass. And I'm very proud to have you as our ally. I want to tell you and your people.
Stop that. Okay, let me go back here now. Do you hear what Lindsey Graham is saying? I mean, I can't believe Zelensky is sitting in the presence of this fool. He's literally saying to him, we got to extort you and extract hundreds of billions of dollars for my friends and allies at the military-industrial complex. All of your people got to die. Your country's been blown to hell. But look at the dent you've put in Russia. And not one American has had to die. Zelensky, you are a fool. This guy does not give a damn about Ukraine. He doesn't care about you. All he cares about is funneling money to the military-industrial complex. And if an American doesn't have to die, and the people that vote him into office get billions and billions and billions of dollars, I've been saying this for 3 years now. Joe Biden wanted to go down as a wartime president, as a war hero, where he says, I beat Vladimir Putin, I beat Russia, and not one American died. But that's not the case. All they did was funnel money to the military-industrial complex while 1 million Ukrainians died or were injured. Lindsey Graham, you are such a pathetic human being, And I cannot believe Zelensky just sat there while he said, all your people get to die and no Americans die. Wake up. This war needs to end right now. Unbelievable. All right, let me keep going here. Let me know what you guys think of Lindsey Graham. Is he a good guy? Type yes. Is he a bad guy? Type no. I want to hear from you guys. I don't think he's a good guy. He constantly stabs Trump in the back. He cares more about going to war. He's a war hawk. He's a total war hawk. While the Trump administration was ordered to pause their funding halts while the courts review if they have the proper authority, it appears Elon Musk and his team of geniuses are not slowing down. They'll just move on to the next corruption. According to a recent announcement from the Department of Government Efficiency, they just recovered another $1.9 billion that was sitting in a financial black hole. On X, DOGE details the findings by stating $1.9 billion of HUD, Housing and Urban Development money, was just recovered after being misplaced during the Biden administration due to a broken process. These funds were earmarked for the administration of financial services, but were no longer needed. So they were literally just sitting there. 1.9 billion. Secretary Turner and DOGE worked together to fix the issue and de-obligate those funds, which are now available for other use by the U.S. Treasury. For the first time in a long time, our government is about to have extra money. Can you imagine? I don't think we've had extra money since Bill Clinton. Not only is useless spending being cut, but even government employees who don't want to work in person are being cut. The employees cut are so substantial that they have even impacted Washington, D.C.'s housing market. According to the Kobesi Letters report, since DOGE began discussing mass layoffs, the median home price in Washington, D.C. has dropped $139,000 in just 30 days, as 4,000 new homes are listed on the real estate websites. That's crazy. Can you imagine your house losing $140,000 in value overnight? Unbelievable. These people must be absolutely panicking. But for me, it makes me very happy because guess what? You guys have been firmly attached to the government like an umbilical cord, and it's time to be cut. Our government cannot sustain the level of printing and debt and new money. It's disgusting, right? Which brings me to today's sponsor. Now, I hate to say this, but the US dollar isn't as strong as it used to be. And the government is the reason why. Specifically, under the Biden administration, the US dollar lost 30% of its buying power. I feel it, you feel it. Meanwhile, inflation is still out of control and the cost of everything is still up. But so are gold and silver. Think about this. If you had to bet on which would be worth more in 10 years, would you say gold or the US dollar? Even my kids know that gold is going to be worth more 10 years from now. Now, I want you to let the team of experts over at Colonial Metals Group help you out. They are genuine, they are helpful, and I just absolutely enjoy working with them. I believe in gold, I believe in silver, and I think you owe it to yourself and your family to research this. Now, whether you're just getting started or you already have an existing 401k or IRA, you can buy gold and silver, and they will teach you how to do that legally so that you don't tick off the IRS. Now, they've put together a special offer. You can get a free safe and up to $7,500 in free silver by becoming a client. You can call them to learn about the details. It's an incredible deal. Just go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/Stephen-Gardner or call 800-807-2143. All right. So the common trend is that numbers are going down across the board where they matter. And thankfully, this happens to also be true at the U.S. southern border. Earlier today, Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, stated, in the last 24 hours, the U.S. Border Patrol has encountered a total of 229 aliens across the entire southwest border. This down from 11,000 a day under Joe Biden. So 11,229. Thank you, Donald J. Trump and Tom Homan and the military and Border Patrol and DHS. Thank you so much. Even though these numbers sound unbelievable, they are true. A 97% decrease in illegal immigrants flooding into the country. If this number isn't absolute proof that Biden was a fool and treasonously wanted to destroy the United States of America, well, there's your proof. It's right in the math, and math cannot lie. But while most of the recent news has been positive, there's also a few things that Trump and his administration are struggling with. One of those is a recent string of plane crashes, with the most recent one being a Delta flight, which sadly flipped over and lost its wings as it crashed and burned. Very, very sad. This is going to have to be researched, but basically it was an airplane that was coming into Toronto, and it ended up flipping over, and it was just, it's bad. Let me go ahead and show that here on screen. Oh, no, we don't want to see any more of Lindsey Graham. Okay, here we go. Share this one instead. So here's the plane wreck. I'm going to get myself out of the screen for a second. Just absolutely sad. I mean, this is the airplane. It's upside down. The firemen had to come out. This is an upside down plane with no wings. That is not how you want to see your airplane. I mean, they're rushing people out of here.
Holy fuck.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that language. But I mean, this is not the way you want to arrive at an airport. Gratefully, people survived. They were able to jump out. The airport and the airport fire department immediately jumped on this. Just so grateful. This could have been just an absolute tragedy. But again, this is not the way that you want to arrive in Canada. Just absolutely terrifying. So sad. So grateful that everybody is okay. Did you guys see that story? Wow. All right. Now, Representative Eric Swalwell, you know, the guy that was sleeping with a Chinese spy in California, he's saying that this particular airplane crash is Donald Trump's fault, and that there's never been a president with so many airplane crashes in their first month. So I looked into this. Breitbart News did an in-depth showing that Trump has had 35 incidents and Biden had 55. Now, Trump is committed to rebuilding the FAA, the towers, the number of people that are helping, getting DEI out of Delta and JetBlue and Continental and American Airlines, getting things back to normal. All right, switching gears, the media has continued to use their liberty of freedom of speech to blast freedom of speech. During a recent CBS News interview, host Margaret Brennan responded to Vice President J.D. Vance's pro-freedom of speech given in Munich, Germany, by claiming that Hitler was able to weaponize Germany, kill 6 million Jews in the Holocaust because of freedom of speech. Good thing she had a guest who has incredible knowledge of World War II. Secretary of State Marco Rubio responded by saying, "I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and hated minorities and hated those, and they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews," he says. There was no freedom of speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was no opposition to Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed the country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history. Now, these guys use Nazis and Hitler for everything. Trump's a Nazi. Trump is Hitler. The Jews died because of freedom of speech, not because of Hitler. The mainstream media is just absolutely full of the stupidest people. It's so, so stupid. All right, now, people are arriving in Saudi Arabia from Russia, the United States, the United Kingdom. There in Saudi Arabia, they are going to have their first true meeting about ending the Russia-Ukraine war. Putin has his envoy. Trump has his envoy. Britain has their envoy. I'm just hoping and praying that we can come to some kind of resolution. But guess what? Zelensky says America owes him more money. And Zelensky says, watch out, Europe. America will abandon you. Watch out, Europe. The country that saved you from World War I and World War II, they're about to throw you under the bus and abandon you. I'm so sick of Zelensky. But then again, I think he's sick of me too, because as you know from watching my show, I am on the Ukraine death list for a journalist that told a truth other than what they have deemed as their truth. So that sucks, but I didn't want to go to Ukraine anyway. And guess what? I've got nothing against the Ukrainian people. They're a beautiful people. It breaks my heart that they went to war in the first place. I can't believe I had to cover this war for 3 years, but here we are, still at war, and now America's suddenly the bad guy? How about give us our $200 billion back? All right, thank you guys. I love you. Stay amazing. I'll see you.